Good morning, Laura. Thank you for being here with me today.
Morning.
Would you take a second and do an introduction for us?
Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Helmick, and I'm the Park Director for Washington Township Park in Avon, Indiana. I'm glad to be on this call with you today and kind of talk a little bit about where we are with the parks.
Thanks. I know I've had some of my friends reach out to me and ask me specifically about what's happening with the park, since I love the park system so much, and just really trying to get the word out about all the parks in our county. They're amazing, and so I thought that would be this would be a really good time to talk about what we can expect moving forward with the parks as new stages are open for us to enjoy them. So if you don't mind going through, and then I might have some questions as we go.
Okay. Yeah, so right now, as everyone knows, the governor put us into stage 2, which we put out our guidelines on our social media page and also our website that reviewed what our stage 2 was and what the plan was for our township. And that included our fire department, our township assistance team, our parks department, and then our administrative staff with the township. We posted that to our Facebook page. We got a lot of really good response from that. So with this stage 2, we are still continuing to work from home. That was a directive from the governor, who recommended, if you can telecommute, to still do that. So we are still working from home, but you will see a few things opening. So just this Tuesday, we opened the lower half of our park. So you can now travel down to the lower half of our park. We also opened access to Picard Park, and now you can enjoy the scenery at Picard Park. And we still do have our playgrounds closed. That is a directive from the governor. We also have the basketball court closed as well. And then our fitness station is still closed. We do encourage people to use our trails as long as they're using social distancing. A few things that you will see is we did get approval to bring back some of our shelter rentals with 25 or fewer. And so we do still encourage social distancing even at those picnic shelters. We got that approval as long as people are adhering to that 25 and lower. If they aren't, there could be potential that could be taken away. You'll also see a few other things. We did get approval for some outdoor programming of 25 and under. So we've been working with the programming team and discussing a few things that we could bring back. One of the things you'll see here soon is our house plant swap. Usually we do that at Picard Nature Center. People bring house plants or starter plants from their home, and then they swap them at Picard. What we're doing now is people will have the option to swap those on a Facebook event page and then come and pick those up at Picard through a safe way to pick them up. And then we've also talked about bringing some of our fitness classes back, but outdoors, and keeping people 6 feet apart, encouraging them to wear masks. And so those are some of the changes you'll see that are different from what we've done in the previous 2 weeks to what we'll start bringing in now. And so our order is into effect until May 24th. And we will be bringing out that stage 3 as soon as we get directive from the governor that we're going into stage 3. We have a plan set forth for stage 3, 4, and 5. We're just not ready to unleash that yet because there's always potential that the governor could bring more things back or bring less back. We don't want to promise things to people and then have to take them back. So we've got a plan in place, and actually the trustee is working hard on kind of finalizing our stage 3 now. And so we'll be bringing that out here soon, but you'll start to see a lot more come back in stage 3. And there's always that chance that we could go back and be back in stage 2 or even back at a stay-at-home order. But I think what makes us feel better is that we've got a plan in place, and it's a really good plan. We've really been looking at our CDC guidelines. We've been relying a lot on Ted Allen. He's our safety officer and also our EMS chief, and he actually gives us daily updates to the entire staff of what's going on with COVID-19. And what we should be aware of. And he's been helping us out a lot with some of the new cleaning procedures that we're putting in place. And we're also looking for a lot of guidance through our legal team. I know that we are a public entity, and so it's really hard to regulate the social distancing orders. So we're trying to figure out legally what we're responsible for as far as that social distancing. It's a little bit harder when it's a public area where anybody could come at any time. And so that's kind of where we're at with our stage 2. In stage 3, you'll see a lot more things come back. You'll see the department will be working intermittently in the office. We will still have the buildings closed at this time. Now, like I said, at any time the CDC could change those recommendations, but we want to make sure that we're keeping our staff safe, especially since our staff is in close contact with our emergency personnel often and throughout the day. We want to make sure we're definitely keeping our emergency personnel safe too. So you'll see a few things come back. We will start to bring some shelter rentals back, but it won't be the same shelter rentals. I mean, there'll be some more procedures put in place. There'll be masks will be required for some of those events. We will be taking temperatures. And so it'll be a little bit different. We aren't going to force anybody to take their temperature, but there could be potential that they can't participate if they don't have their temperature taken. But like I said, that could change, and we could go a different route. But that's what we're kind of thinking of right now. And then you'll see programming. We'll start to bring a lot more of our programming back. When we get to stage 3, it is groups of up to 100 people. And so you'll start to see a lot more programming come back, but each program has created their own communicable disease plan. And all of those communicable disease plans will go towards our safety officer for his approval. We'll also speak to our legal department for their approval. And then we'll start to bring some of those back. We know that programming is a need for our community and that people are really missing it right now, and especially that social interaction. So we'd like to bring that back as safe as we can and as soon as we can. And then our camp director has been working really hard to figure out a way to bring camp back. She's attended several webinars through the American Camp Association. The American Camp Association is coming out with their own guidelines and their own set of standards to help with safety procedures. And so she's come up with a really great communicable disease plan that we feel will keep kids safe, and it will be the best way to prevent a spread. But like I said, the CDC technically puts us as a day camp because of the hours that we have in place, but we are looking for some more guidance on that. As we all know, each day the governor comes out with, a press conference at 2:30, and he goes into more in depth of, what we can start to bring back. And so we're going to wait to see what his recommendations are. We're going to wait to see what the CDC recommends. We're going to look for guidance through the American Camp Association. We're going to look for guidance through our legal staff, and then also with our safety officer. And so in those, there is a potential to bring back some of our hard play surfaces like playgrounds, basketball courts, splash pad. But like I said, that really does come with what the CDC recommends. So we really are trying to follow their guidance and also the governor's guidance. And then with that too, we are looking at what we're legally obligated to do as far as keeping that social distancing. So something new that you'll see in the park is a lot more signage, just reminding people to stay 6 feet apart, reminding people about the effects of COVID-19, reminding people that they need to be washing their hands, and reminding people of how many groups can congregate in one area, and making sure that they are just constantly reminded of keeping a distance and keeping a safe distance. There's always a potential anywhere you go right now that you could get COVID-19, and we just want to make sure that people are being aware of what they can do to avoid it.
I think it's been really amazing to see how everyone has reached for the outdoors through all of this. they've gathered their families, the people that they're stuck in the houses with, and they're the ones who are walking and getting on the trails together. And I think that's the sweet spot. If there's a silver lining through all of this, I think we have really learned to appreciate our outdoors and our park systems.
Right. I think that people are seeing now more than ever that, parks really are essential to the community, not just for physical fitness, but social interaction, mental wellness as well. People cooped up in their house, they need to get out. I always say that it's almost like it's cabin fever extended, but it's great that people are getting out. It's great that they're enjoying our parks. I love seeing pictures pop up. I would say, something the staff talks about all the time is we just miss the park. We miss seeing it change in the spring, seeing it change to the summer, all the spring flowers that come up. We miss seeing the shade sails go up by the splash pad. We miss seeing people playing. It's one of our favorite things, and we spend a lot of our time at the parks getting things ready, and a lot of times we're working when you guys are playing, and we just miss being there and being able to see that.
Well, I also know you guys miss each other. I imagine you are a tight knit of ladies and men there, and such good friends, and I'm sure you guys all miss each other greatly.
We do. We actually meet every week. We do a Zoom conference call. We're going to meet right after this, and we kind of update each other on what we've been doing. And I can say the staff has been working really hard. They've really there was no down period in our stay at home. We kind of just saw what was in front of us and, kind of ran with it and figured out ways that we could still reach out to the community. I think our big focus was that virtual programming that Trilby and her programming staff has started doing. We wanted to figure out a way to help people right now stay involved and, still interacting with each other. A lot of people are at home. They've never been at home this long. We feel really bad for the kids right now because they're stuck at home. They don't have that social interaction. So we want to be out there doing these things for our community and making sure that they're still getting involved and they're still working together. And Trilby has done, and her programming staff, they have done a phenomenal job with some of the ideas that they've come up with. We meet almost every week to talk about new virtual programming ideas. We're also big into our state association. So I'm the president for the Indiana Park and Recreation Association, and we've been hosting several webinars for all the parks in the state where we talk about what everyone is doing. So we have different roundtables where anyone with an aquatics facility can join in and talk to each other and get ideas for training, staff hiring, kind of where they're at, cleaning procedures. We also do some virtual programming meetings, and those are really fun because we talk about all kinds of different ideas everyone's doing, what's worked, and we kind of steal ideas from each other and change it into our own. So it's been really fun to kind of mingle with some of these departments from the state and really lean on each other. And so it just kind of goes to show that, even parks throughout our entire state kind of have that connection where we're working together and we're trying to help each other through this time as well. Sometimes working in the public sector, you're in the limelight all the time, and some of us are really starting to see those effects, especially those that are having to cancel their aquatics facilities or furlough their employees. So
I think that this is right up your alley too, because I know you guys are not afraid to try new things, and so you are built for this sort of new technology and new ways of doing things. So I think that's really cool.
Right, it's pretty exciting. I think one of my favorite things that are coming up is Trilby has actually been working with her son on getting a safe server for Minecraft. And so she actually reached out to everyone in the department and any of their kids that wanted to join in on this little committee to monitor this safe server can be on this little committee where they monitor the safe server and people have this safe space to play Minecraft. And I just thought that that was so neat that, now it's just not us park people, it's our kids working together too to kind of come up with programming for the community.
That's really cool. So let me just recap just a couple things. I know that the real questions are, the nature center, the playgrounds, and as I understand, those are even beyond stage 3, potentially.
So right now, I don't see us opening those facilities to the public in stage 3. I do see us potentially opening them to private events or events that we hold in the park, or even some rentals. We'll start to bring some rentals back. Now that could change. We're really looking for guidance from the governor, so we're not putting that out until we hear from him on the 24th, so that we can make that change and send it out to everybody. And then stage 4 and 5, those are really up in the air right now, just because they're so far in advance for us. But we are hopeful that at least by stage 5 in July 4th that we'll be able to open those buildings to the public again. But we are going to bring some of our animals outside, so you'll still be able to visit the turtles. We've got some chickens out there in our aviary. We've got some bunnies out there right now. All of our pigeons were adopted, so we're really excited about that. But you'll start to see some new animals come out there, so that way you can still enjoy and see them. And they are doing really well, but they miss everybody.
I bet they do. They're the sweetest little things. I think I tell everybody about the Nature Center at Picar and to go check out Jack and Diane. They're just adorable.
Yeah, I think they really miss our naturalist the most, because I always think it's funny because they know when she's in there, and whenever she lets them out, all they do is follow her around. And so it's really funny when you go to visit her in the office, because there's 2 big boulders sitting right by her desk.
That's cute. Well, I really appreciate your time today, and I know everybody else does. And I'm sure you have all of this lined out on your website and on the Facebook page, as you mentioned. And so we'll send everybody there. I'll put a link to the video in our video to the park as well, with that information, so that everybody can stay tuned to what's to come and what is right now. So thanks so much, Laura. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and we miss you all. We can't wait to come back. Stay safe.
Thanks.